the first time in a month, Jeffrey has finally left his dark, disgusting, damp room. He's been motivated by watching Andrew Tate shorts and now he's gonna finally go on a run. Yay, Jeffrey, let's do it! He leaves his house and starts waddling away. This is the most exercise that young Jeffrey has had in a very long time. We're so proud of you, Jeff. What? Why have you stopped? You said you were gonna go on a run. What's he doing? He looks like he's contemplating, like he's thinking. Don't turn around, Jeffrey. You're literally just a minute away. I guess a minute's still progress. And you know, if you run a minute back home, then that's 2 minutes today. Maybe you can increase. Whoa. No, don't, Jeffrey. What the? Jeffrey went out for a run. He ran for less than a minute. We thought he was gonna run back home, so at least it was gonna be something. But he just hopped on an electric scooter instead. Jeffrey! Adonis. Adonis is climbing Mount Everest and he's determined to reach the top. As the air thins and he struggles to catch his breath, Adonis pushes on. His muscles begin to ache and his body screams for him to quit, but Adonis is mentally tough and he refuses to give up. I must reach the top. Adonis pushes himself harder than he has ever done before, and eventually, he reaches the summit. He sits down on a rock to rest and take in his surroundings and meditate even with this lack of oxygen. It seems like the whole world is laid before him. He is filled with gratitude for the beauty of nature and the mental toughness he possesses that allowed him to complete his journey. You know, I've seen some comments of guys who don't really watch our videos. Maybe they've just clicked on a random one. And I've seen them genuinely disbelieve some of the stories I told you about my younger days where, you know, like I played a lot of video games and I was addicted to porn and everything. I was addicted to weed and junk food and stuff. And I always saw these comments and they'd always write something like, oh yeah, right, I thought his life was that bad and everything. And I just thought, bro, like, you must have had a pretty good life. Because the guys who can relate to my life know that the stories that I've told you, they could not be faked. The amount of detail that I've went in to tell you the real experiences I've had of the days that, you know, I'd wake up and jack off 3 times to the point that my pee-pee wasn't even hard anymore for the final nut, or the times that I'd be smoking weed as soon as I'd wake up through the day at nighttime, and I was just high all the time and I was eating just horrible junk food. People who have been in those situations, I've heard so many times from the guys who are actually a part of our cult say like, wow, I've never actually heard someone like describe it in that much detail. Like, that's exactly what I was going through. And so when I tell you what I was like a good few years ago, you must believe that I was a total I was a coward, I was weak. And I'm certainly not Adonis right now, not even close. But I think I've made some pretty good progress. I went from being that stereotypical skinny neck video gamer who just ate horrible food, who eventually through puberty developed breasts like gynecomastia, like man boobs, because my testosterone was so low, my estrogen would have been so high because I was genuinely, like even hormonally a to the greatest period of discipline that I had when I was in monk mode in 2020. Because, you know, I had been stacking up the dopamine, the instant gratification for years and years and years. I was taking drugs, smoking weed, partying, hooking up with girls and everything. I know some of those things can be a lot of fun, but certainly when you overdo pleasurable things to the point that they even stop becoming pleasurable and they become more like crutches, like things you need instead of things you want, it becomes very problematic. And so, you know, stacking all these up for years at a time, just more pleasure, more pleasure, more pleasure. Well, pleasure leads to pain. And then I had the greatest bouts of depression, anxiety, feeling horrible, nihilistic, slightly suicidal. I was weak. And quite frankly, no one has ever said this to you before. I was weak and I deserved to feel trash. I was weak and I deserved to feel depressed. I was weak and I deserved to feel suicidal. No one has ever spoke like this before because it's so anti-PC, it's so offensive. But I was doing the actions that would lead to depression. I was doing the actions that would lead to feeling horrible. And so I deserve the consequences of my actions. You know, I said this once on the community posts of this channel. I said, if there's someone out there who doesn't contribute to their tribe, who just wastes away and just indulges in stimulation, they deserve to feel depressed. And the amount of guys who like, we're trying to be like cool and soft and like, no one deserves to feel depressed, Hamza. That's really offensive. Yeah, you do. I did. 100% I did. When you do the actions that would lead a person to feel nihilistic, grey, dull, anxious, scared, weak, well then you deserve the consequences of your actions. We are men, we are not boys. We are men. That means that whatever we do, we take full responsibility for. If you feel a certain way, it's because you deserve to feel that way, because you did the actions to feel that way. If you got poor grades in school, okay, you deserve it. If you feel really bad, and dare I even say if you feel suicidal, you deserve it, because you have done the actions to get you there. Now this hurts. There's a lot of guys thinking that I'm absolutely crazy right now, but you know what? Any guy who's actually not so entirely weak that he can just listen to this message, there's a lot of guys watching this, my boys, who know that this kind of message is what's needed right now. This is actually, in a weird way, the message that will save more lives. Because telling people like, oh, it's okay, you feel depressed, oh, I'm so sorry, oh, here's the suicide hotline number. That doesn't work. Because if it did, and everyone speaks like that, we wouldn't keep seeing the rise of more people's poor mental health, would we? We need a little bit of tough love. We need a little bit of accountability, of ownership, of responsibility for young men. Why does a young man feel so bad these days? Because he is weak and he must become tougher. Because for a very long time, after I indulged in all that pleasure and I chose to have depression and suicidal thoughts, because it was a choice. If you're doing the actions that leads to that, then it is a choice. You're choosing to feel depression, you're choosing to feel suicidal. I was choosing to feel those things. I didn't want to feel those things, you know, they were really scary. It's a bad feeling, but I was doing the actions that would lead to that. I felt depressed. I hated my life. I hated being broke, and I'd keep smoking weed. And so I chose to be like that. I chose to feel mentally dull. I chose to not speak to my family for an entire year. So I deserved to feel like that. I deserved to being close to end it all because I did those actions. This sounds absolutely crazy to some people, but if you can grasp this knowledge, you will literally be equipped with the mindset that will actually save you from these dark things for the rest of your life. You want to know how to become mentally tougher? You want to know how to stop being weak? And I'm not talking about, you know, physically, oh, I just want to get bench pressed to 100 kilograms. That stuff's nice. That's really nice. But your mental strength is 100 times more valuable than your physical strength. You want to know how to get that? You take full accountability. It becomes common sense when we talk about it like this. You know if an action, something you're about to do, is going to make you weaker. You know if this thing that you're about to do is going to make you feel bad 24 hours from now. You know this. You're not stupid. You know if you eat that junk food right now, that sugar, you're going to feel pretty nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, pleasure. Oh, there's a bit of taste on my lips. Yes. You know that you're going to feel like that for 20 seconds. And then you've ate all of it. You've ate all the sugar. And you also knew that you were going to feel worse for hours afterwards. That this small one little thing that you've had isn't that bad, but in the grand scale of things, this is how people get fat. This is how people get extremely overweight. This is how you've become too high body fat to even appreciate the beauty that should have been your physique. You understand that by wasting time today on your phone or your computer, it's going to feel kind of pleasurable. Oh yeah, let's just go scroll on TikTok, or let's go and watch some pointless YouTube videos. You knew that would feel kind of nice, but you also knew that you would feel worse tomorrow when you're a little bit behind on the work that you said you were gonna do. Again, you are not stupid. You are not unaware. You are not ignorant. Men these days need to be slapped in the face and reminded this one very important quote: you deserve the consequences of your actions. If you are committing to the actions that would make you feel bad, good. I want you to feel bad. If you are doing the actions that will make you feel depressed and suicidal, good. I want you to feel depressed and suicidal because that's what you deserve. Likewise, if you are doing the actions that will make you feel good, that's what you deserve. If you are doing the actions that will make you feel connected in your tribe, with the people around you, with your family, your friends, then good, that's what you're gonna get. This video is gonna trigger a lot of soft people, and they're gonna keep going through their lives, one antidepressant pill at a time, wondering why their PB doesn't even work anymore, why they don't have that same gust that they used to when they were a little boy. The male feminists are going to be watching this with skinny necks thinking, yeah, this guy's misogynist. Like, we've not even talked about women in this video and they'll still be watching it thinking, yeah, he's a misogynist. A lot of people will be watching this, soft people, and they won't understand this message, but you may. There is a key to becoming mentally tougher, and it is to literally just know that you have to take full responsibility for the things that you do in life. And whatever decisions you make, know that you deserve the consequences of those actions. This is why once a guy actually has a good head on his shoulders and he actually gets onto self-improvement and he follows the words of Adonis, that he looks around, as you may have done, and you see your friends and they're voluntarily choosing to do the actions that make them feel bad, and they just won't stop, and they kind of think that you're the crazy one. If you look around and see this in the world, do you not think it's weird that literally everyone is doing a thing, that they're getting to point A and they're like, what? Huh? But why am I at point A? But I want to be at point B. I know. Ah, yes. I'll keep doing the actions that will keep getting me further and further and further in point A. Let's see if that gets me to point B. That's literally what people are doing. People are like going onto Google Maps, saying that they want to go to a city, Manchester, but then moving the location over all the way. Okay, Edinburgh. Yeah, I want to go to Manchester, so Edinburgh. Okay, let's go. They're driving for hours and hours. Wait, I'm getting further away from Manchester. What's happening? But it's okay. It's driving and driving and driving. Wait, why am I here? Huh. Well, I mean, I'm already in Scotland, so let's just keep going north. Does this blow anyone else's mind, bro? Because for me personally, when I see young men and even women of today, literally just quite frankly, like this is stupidity, is it not? I see this stupidity in most people, wondering why their lives are so bad, wondering why they're broke, but they keep doing the actions that caused them to be broke in the first place and they won't change anything. Honey, you've been trying to like quit buying Starbucks coffees for months, for years, and you're still broke. It didn't change anything. The guy who's been trying to quit weed for ages and keeps going back because he keeps trying in the exact same way. All the men around the world who feel so glum and so negative and life's so hard and I'm so lonely, and they keep doing the actions that have led them here instead of drastically changing their lives. When you look at it this way, don't you see the foolishness of the world? Don't you see the weak people? Because mental strength, mental toughness, it's just about choosing to do the thing that will actually get you to where you really want to go. Even if that thing feels a little bit uncomfortable and painful today, you want that body, don't you? You want to look into the mirror and see your physique and actually feel proud and confident for how you look. You want your shirts to fit against your arms. You want your shirt to be a little bit loose against your stomach. So why not just go and do the actions that will cause that? Well, the reason why most people don't is because you can't click your fingers and make it happen. It's because you have to experience some kind of pain and discomfort first. And so many people are so avoidant of pain and discomfort without realizing that pain and discomfort leads to happiness. And so the modern Neanderthal that you see around you today, which is probably 80% of people are like literally modern Neanderthals, they're just brain dead. They'll choose to sacrifice their dreams. They'll choose to sacrifice their health, their family, their relationships, their work, their livelihood for a bit of pleasure today. They want that body, but they won't go to the gym today. They'll just keep scrolling on TikTok. They want that money, that wealth, but they won't go and do something that actually has the possibility to get them that much money. And instead, they'll just keep trudging along in the education system like, oh yeah, maybe I'll make 25K a year. It takes a mentally strong person to be able to delay gratification, to see what you want months from now, years from now, see the choices that will get you there and commit to those choices, even though those choices are harder and more uncomfortable than something else you could do today. That's it. That's literally as simple as it gets. You want to know a bulletproof way to build the body of your dreams? Sacrifice. Sacrifice today for tomorrow. How about for your parents who are in debt? You want to know a bulletproof way for them to get rid of their debt? Sacrifice today for tomorrow. How about your studies? A bulletproof way to improve your grades? Sacrifice today for tomorrow. Why are you trying to cash out today? Why are you trying to feel so much pleasure today? Oh, but it's 7 p.m. One hour isn't that bad. Your competition's not doing that 1 hour, bro. You've got a lot to think about. If this video's annoyed you, the issue is with videos like this, the guys who truly need to hear this message got offended and clicked off in the first few minutes, didn't they? So chances are, if you've watched all of this, as much as this maybe has triggered you a little bit, you probably deeply agree with the message because you just know that it's the truth. And you know that you've slipped up a little bit. There's areas in your life right now that you haven't been sacrificing for. There's areas in your life that you have been weak instead of tough. And being able to admit that is kind of like a superpower in this modern day because so many people don't have the strength, the humility, the accountability to just hold their hands up and say, you know what? I've slacked. I will tell you. And I won't just tell you. I'll tell all 100,000 guys who are watching this video that, yeah, bro, last few months I slacked on my physique. I slacked on my diet. I slacked on my training. I said that work was the priority and that, I was only going to train once or twice a week. And then I got kind of fat. Last like maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I've really been bringing it back. I'm getting back into it. But bro, I really fell off my physique. I really fell off my training for a good amount of time, a couple of months. And I felt horrible. I slacked. I stopped putting the work in. I stopped sacrificing for my physique. And guess what? I felt bad and I deserved to feel bad. Do you understand me saying that? I deserved to feel bad. I deserved to feel bad because I did the actions that would lead to that. So I deserved it. Building my physique, training in the gym makes me feel good. I stopped doing it. I started to feel bad. Good. That's exactly what I deserved. If you can talk to yourself like this, bro, you will be miles above everyone else who's just covering their eyes up a little bit and they don't want to be accountable. They just want to stay in their safe space and get the participation trophy. It'd be wise for you to have a little pep talk with yourself after this. If you're a Jeffrey, you'll click onto the next video, even if it's one of mine and that gets me more YouTube AdSense and you've watched more of my videos, fantastic, but you would be wise to pause this video and to just sit there in utter silence for the first time in a while. Just sit there and just like stare at your wall for a bit. Don't look at your phone. Don't look at your computer. Oh, let me write on my Notion document. No. Just sit there for a few minutes and just stare at a wall and have a mental pep talk with yourself. Pick out those times that you slacked and you know where they are, and don't be easy on yourself. Don't be soft on yourself. One of the greatest things that you can do as a young man is to be hard on yourself. I want you right now to pause the video, look at your wall, and literally pick apart those small things that you did that were not of your total potential. I will do it live. I will do it out loud. I ate this dessert just over a week ago, some like baklava, some like Turkish thing, and it was full of sugar. Honestly, I didn't even enjoy it that much. I just kept on eating it. I knew it was bad for me, but I went with this cope of like, oh, well, you know, it's only once in a while, there's no problem. But I didn't even get that much pleasure from it. All I did was just gain more fat and then felt bad after that. What I mentioned before, a couple of weeks, that still annoys me. For a solid 2 months, I slacked on my training and my fitness and my diets. Just a couple of months ago, bro, I was ordering like junk food very often. A couple times a week, I was eating burgers and stuff. And I know that that can be okay as a treat, but when that became a part of my normal diet and I just gained so much weight randomly and I felt bad and I looked at myself in the mirror shirtless and I literally felt bad, I'm realizing now that I should have felt bad. And I've slacked. I've slacked in my work. I say this is the most important thing for me, and it is. Then why have I slacked recording these videos? My editors have had to wait an extra day or 2 days or sometimes 3 days or even longer because I've just slacked, and it's like, oh guys, no, sorry, no videos today that I've recorded because I'm just a little bit tired, and you know, I had a big meal before and I'm really tired now. Like, that's embarrassing. There's people relying on me for their wages, and I've been slow with my work. And as much as I've said so many times that this is quite a mentally and physically demanding job, I've shown that I can do it. I've shown that I can record all 7 videos, even in one sitting. And so to have my editors wait for multiple days, it's unacceptable. In this modern day, you are told to not talk like this to yourself. You are told to be so soft to yourself, and look around. Look at the consequences of that kind of message. Everyone these days is so weak. You have been weak for far too long. If you literally just think about your life, like periods of your life, year by year by year, you have been weak for most of them because you've listened to the exact same advice that everyone else has. Be nice to yourself. Go easy on yourself. It's okay. Just compare yourself to yesterday. 1% better every day. But that guy who's competing with you, and you don't even realize he's competing, but that guy who's gonna flirt with your future wife, he's not going easy on himself. I will say this again, bro. I want you to imagine in the future, you got a wife, you got kids, and yeah, everything's so happy, and your wife's, you know, at work. There are gonna be some guys who hit on her, aren't they? And one of those guys, he didn't take days off when you did. One of those guys who will flirt with your future wife or your girlfriend or the mother of your children, he's not being easy on himself right now. He's on the floor doing ab exercises, doing crunches whilst he's listening to this video. Are you? Or are you sat there with like fat rolls, just like poor posture, thinking, oh yeah, well, you know, I've already worked out today. I already went to the gym today, so I don't need to do anything more. Rest is key. He's not resting, bro. And when he approaches your future wife and he's lean and he's 10% body fat and his shirt just presses against his abs and her eyes just quickly look down and a little bit of lust begins to form in her, and she's not a bad person for this. How could she not be turned on by a guy who is just so much better than you? And that's gonna hurt. Sometimes I forget to think like this because, you know, it's toxic, and there might be some male feminists reacting to this. It's so toxic. Yeah, it is. It is toxic. But male life is supposed to be toxic. Male life is supposed to be a competition. It's supposed to be a war. So all these soft people telling you like, oh no, dude, just take some time off, dude. It's not that deep, dude. Just play some video games. They weren't even in the competition of men anyway. But that guy who is truly your competition, I promise you right here, right now, whilst you're watching this video, I promise you, he is literally on the floor doing crunches. Get to work. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.